So it's my huge honour and privilege to welcome you to the NOVA Awards for 2021. And it's a very special year for the NOVA Awards because it is the 10th anniversary of the partnership between Central St Martin's and MullenLowe. And over those 10 years, we've seen the importance of these awards to the creative community at Central St Martin's, and I'd say beyond. And what's wonderful about the award is how it crosses over all our disciplines, and you get brought together in one space, stuff from performance art to fashion to architecture and so on and so forth. And I think that over the years, when we look back on it, as I think we will this year in the 10th anniversary, what we'll find is a record of the changing preoccupations, priorities and values of this incredible creative community.
My whole project was kind of inspired by the environmental and ethical issues around the meat industry at the moment. And in my research, I came across the world of cultured meat. So cultured meat is when animal cells are extracted from an animal and then the meat is grown from those cells. And it means that the animal doesn't need to be slaughtered in order to access the meat. And this kind of inspired the project of Carnery, which is a grow your own meat device for around 10 to 20 years in the future. And it basically works by the user ordering cell capsules to their home from local farms, and then they change the settings on the app so that in a week's time their meat will have grown.
So the whole journey started when I understand the word period property, how serious it is to impact about like females' mental health and also physical health. When I first heard that word, it happened when I read from the news saying that people in mainland China who suffer period poverty had to spend £3 to buy 100 pads of unbranded sanitary pad. It actually such heartbreaking news to understand that people still suffer this problem because they are having financial difficulties. So this is a starting point that clicked me and have a look about like, oh, what will happen if we have this period poverty problem in vulnerable contexts, and this is why you can start it.
My project is about finding hope, and a hope that reflects in like my personal history and circumstances, but also a hope more in general for the world, because one of my biggest aims was to prove that sustainability is actually not a limitation to creativity, but to be and is a tool to use to prove one's resourcefulness and creativity. So, yeah.
Ulieto is a massive recovery of olive wood chips that were processed and reduced in burning consumption. So since 2013, my region, Apulia, was affected by a bacteria called Xylella fastidiosa. That is a plant pathogen that killed 21 million of olive trees. So this project is basically a recovery of all this material into a large-scale context project.
HS2 Ghostlands is a multidisciplinary arts project created in response to the climate emergency and HS2 in an attempt to memorialise and preserve a record of 18 specific woodlands under threat. The project includes a digital archive of audio recordings in the form of an interactive sound map, a set of hand-built musical instruments made by recycling natural materials found at the locations, and a newly composed piece of experimental music inspired by reading the woodlands as a musical score and echoing patterns in birdsong.
I would describe my project, Leanne, as a mask that reacts to one's online emotions, exploring your online versus offline self. So machine learning is used to grade the emotions of your online interactions. Posting, liking, or commenting something positive will return a positive score. inflating the part of the mask that represents a positive front. Conversely, if it's negative, it will inflate the corresponding areas. So the mask displays the dichotomy between one's real versus virtual facial expressions. Lian does not act as a criticism, rather an inquiry of our online manifestations.
Songlight is a response to the bifurcation of human culture and non-human nature in the Western world. It aims to reintroduce nature into our technological lives through birdsong and light. It's powered by a neural network trained on the song of 88 bird species that are commonly heard in the United Kingdom, and it amplifies their voices by expanding their song from the auditory to the visual realms through ambient lighting.
It's hard because there's no real singular project for me. I have focuses around alternative forms of publishing and grassroots publishing, as well as fiction as a medium and text-based art. But then I have a personal practice which focuses on animation, illustration, and storytelling in an alternate reality or creating an alternate world. But then I have several collaborative projects which are equally as important, such as an ongoing fictitious work with my friend and artist Charlie Ford, and two publishing platforms, one called Offal Print, which is a paper form of publishing, and then a more experimental thing called Dispersed Narratives, which merges and kind of produces collaboration through digital and physical formats.
My project focuses on people's inaccessibility and accessibility to green space during lockdown, and how crucial it is for people's mental health at a time where we're told to stay at home and everything is so screen fatigued. It shows through experimental costume how important it is to have a connection with nature for our mental health and also for our physical well-being. And I really want to bring nature and greenery into people's lives in ways they've never experienced before, and hopefully it will promote a positive well-being.
So the core concept and pivotal idea of my project is a microphone created from my own biomaterial. I collected my own hair and nails for a year, then incinerated them at very high temperature to create carbon granules. I then used these carbon granules to create a carbon microphone. So it's this circular idea, almost a feedback loop of amplifying my own voice using my own bodily materials, and how this concept inhabits a space, morphs and changes, mirroring the plasticity of us as organic beings. And I've been exhibiting this project recently as a performance, sitting somewhere in between a performative science experiment and a sonic intervention on a public space.
Bactera, it's a project that proposes the use of biomineralization process to create ceramics that do not require kiln firing and are biologically solidified and glazed by soil-borne non-pathogenic bacteria. By providing a making technique where ceramic waste and bacteria are my main ingredients, I hope to start a conversation about the promising possibilities of biotechnology within pottery.
So, three main concepts inspire my project. First one, a local approach at every stage of the project. From the beginning, understanding the ecosystem, the context, but with a scientific point of view, and then at the final stage with a more design perspective. Secondly, the Galician identity and different elements present in the Galician culture for the design part. And then the last one, collaboration, but as inspiration of related to knowledge exchange between humans and non-humans. Humans as the basket makers, the scientists or the biologists, and non-humans, the waste. So we have three concepts and a single project.
Well, my project explores the notion of home and the territory and as well as sense of dislocation, which was inspired by my personal experience of drifting from place to place, and initiates me to speculate on the collective who also suffering from the unsettlement due to the urbanization and government policy in the country. So in my practice, I use my body as a medium to examine the boundaries between personal and public space. I interrogate who has the power to determine one's living space while exploring and expanding the definition of home territory, as well as sense of belonging.
Okay, about my program, that I download people's online comments on the internet and use data visualization software to show them as the image of different, planet and different backgrounds to show people's complex emotional connections with each other, and also to in memory of the information forgotten by the internet. And because for me, I think they really existed and they all was being remembered.
Welcome, everybody, to the 2021 MullenLowe NOVA Awards. This year, we're celebrating a decade of partnership with Central St. Martin's in looking for the most interesting ideas, the most completely new ways of looking at the world, new materials, new thoughts, new questions. And supporting all the upcoming and fresh creative talent that is out there.
As a judge, when reviewing the short list, the things I was looking for were just a brilliant creative idea. What were the just really cool things that were extremely talkable, that would pass the litmus test of over dinner that night, I would be talking to people about something really brilliant that I had reviewed or seen.
In my judging of the shortlisted students, I've been looking for interesting creative ideas, unexpected solutions and radical thinking, and a solid design process that the student has really gone into the creative process and found something unique.
This is my first time, so I didn't have something, planned of what I'm going to look for. But once I started looking at the projects, it got me really inspired. Like the variety, they're coming from different departments, from performance to fashion to design to products and graphics, and it was like a very inspiring and very dense amount of projects that you can see the amount of research and work put into it.
Of course, it's always important to support students during normal times, but especially over the last 18 months with the pandemic. I think it's absolutely incredible that students have been able to innovate and continue with their studies despite the many disruptions and the challenges that they've faced. I think it's also interesting to see the themes of the work that are coming out. There definitely are things that have been highlighted by the events of the last 18 months. Perhaps all of us thinking more about how we impact on the environment and how we live our lives. So it was really interesting to see the standard, the high quality, the high standard of the work on display and tapping into those various themes that are more important than ever.
It's important to support students during these times because the pandemic has had such a profound impact of our day-to-day lives. University campuses are normally buzzing cultural hubs where students are brought together from nations around the world. Many students have unfortunately not been able to be on campus or indeed showcase their work in graduate shows. And the MullenLowe NOVA Awards have presented a fantastic opportunity for exposure and recognition.
From the shortlisted students, I was looking for aesthetic quality and originality. I love visuals that are striking, memorable, something that excites me and make me want to tell others about it.
A very strong theme that I've seen throughout the projects this year has been sustainability, how we can create a sustainable lifestyle and a sustainable future.
When judging the shortlisted students, I've been looking for projects that are truly innovative, but also ones that respond to deeper societal questions. I've wanted projects to speak to me on an emotional level, be beautiful, well-researched, and unlike anything I've seen before.
Just skimming through the shortlist and the whole entries, it got me so inspired. Like I felt really invested in each story and in each research.
The thing I found most rewarding about judging the awards is just the pure diversity of ideas. The categories were really broad. Amazing insight and thinking has come from all different things, you know, everything from kind of performance arts to product design. So just the breadth of ideas has just been really inspiring to see.
The key themes that I saw through the projects are reuse, recycle and regenerate, which of course are vital practices in the current climate emergency. And I think it was really reassuring to see that come through so strongly in all the themes.
I think that this award can be, you know, an incredible, I guess, trampoline or stepping stone for students' careers just coming out of university. It certainly was for me. You know, it was a very important platform for my work to sort of be accessed by so many different people.
One of the greatest things for me personally to come back to like the NOVA Award 10 years later and to St. Martin's has been to see this fantastic projects and all the work that's come after me. And it feels like I'm part of something much greater than myself.
I think one of the greatest things about these juries over the years has been that nobody arrives in the room with their mind made up. Nobody wants something to win. There is no agenda. We all want the best work to win. This year's winners were chosen as every year's winners have been chosen by unanimous decision and by long and brainy and super interesting discussions in the jury. Every project is analyzed, every project is looked at, its weaknesses, its strengths. It's looked at from, as I said before, all sorts of different angles. And the work that floats to the top, the work that makes it to the top, is really the work that is more rounded, more well thought out, that doesn't have any weaknesses, and that takes a lot of thought on the part of the student. It takes a lot of discipline, and frankly, it's a very enriching discussion, particularly because we all try to center on the positive side of the work, why we like it, why we think it's so good, why we think it deserves an award. So the work that finally makes it and the work that gets the awards is fundamentally work that we all loved and that we all defended and we all fell in love with gradually more and more and more. But we never try to take down the work. We try to build it up. And those that we build up higher are the ones that get the awards.
With Carnery, there was a kind of real wider service and system around the product that, due to just time and resources, I wasn't able to explore as much as I'd have liked. So even from how the cells are going to be transported, what these local farms look like, the packaging, all these different things around the product that it would be amazing to have the kind of resources and time to really explore further. So yeah, that's one of the main things I'd love to do with the prize money, and it really would just be fantastic to win one of the awards.
So amazing, because I've done so much of my work in my garden shed, so to be able to maybe get a workshop space or somewhere where I can keep my work and then begin to continue on and make more installations and things to help promote people's mental health with using green space and nature in which ways that people never seen before would just be so amazing.
I'm very proud to announce the winner of the Creative Boom Conscious Award. This is an award that recognises a project that reflects or responds to or champions lasting positive change in today's society. That's whether we're looking at social responsibility, the environment, or the political and pro-diversity movements that have come to the fore over the last 18 months. The reason why this person has won this particular award, the Creative Boom Conscious Award, is that it really takes into account the theme of lasting positive change. It's not something that might be so obvious because I suppose a lot of us don't really think about the elements that go into our built environment. But it was a very worthy winner because it makes such a huge change and impact on something that's become a problem in certain communities across the world, and if it was actually implemented would make a huge difference.
I really feel grateful, thank you. So I would say I feel really grateful, but for me the most important thing is using your platform to spread more the circumstance about the Xylella we are facing in Apulia, because we are not facing only in my region but around Europe, in Portugal, in Spain, in Corsica, in France, in Greece. So it's a massive problem at the moment. So I would love to spread it more and more.
So it's my absolute pleasure to announce the winner of the Unstereotype Award. So the Unilever Unstereotype Award recognises inclusive, forward-thinking creative work that breaks away from the limited and outdated stereotypical portrayals. And the winner really unlocked an insight in a completely taboo area, one often not talked about in certain societies. A massive congratulations from myself and all the judges to the winner of the Unstereotype Award.
If I'm able to get the award, I know there is a money prize for it, which will be really useful because I really want to make good execute in the reality. I already get some really positive feedback about asking when the step gonna be going out, or is there a potential about turning this into a social enterprise. So with the money award, I want to put it into manufacturing it, and also probably in the future time collaborate with Really Good Period, and then to execute the whole plan.
I'm pleased to announce the winner of this year's MullenLowe People's Choice Award. The MullenLowe Award is a chance for you, the public, to have your say and vote for your favorite work from the 14 shortlisted students. This award means a great deal to students graduating from university, as it did for me last year. Last year, I also won the UNOVA People's Choice Award alongside the UNOVA Award. And this was a very important moment because a lot of people became aware of the work through the shares of the voting link. A lot of people. So I believe that this award is incredibly special. It not only provides students with financial support to continue their work post-graduation, but it also shines a spotlight on their practice, their creative achievements, and really puts us forward to what comes after university. Huge thanks to all of those who voted this year. We've received more than 3,000 votes. And so on the behalf of myself and the rest of the judges and the shortlisted students, thank you.
I would love to develop my mask further and explore new relationships as humans and virtual worlds and how we interact online and discover and improve new techniques. And I would really like to just push this and innovate further to push boundaries and open conversations on human behaviors in relation to technology, and maybe work more on man-machine interfaces and see how I can integrate those into traditional masks.
I can't end this without giving an enormous thank you to Central St. Martin's, and again for their continued partnership with us for over 10 years, to the broader UAL team, to our co-sponsors for many years, Unilever, and this year Creative Boom, to all the people that voted for the UNOVA Award. It was an incredible amount of votes that we got. I think the highest number of votes that we've ever gotten. And to my fellow jurors who gave up a lot of their time to make sure that the best work was rewarded. But most of all to the students, because it is your work that inspires this whole thing. It is your work that lets this whole award scheme exist. Without your work, there would be no point. And I'd like to thank you and congratulate you for being so extraordinarily creative, and I hope you are very, very successful. Now it's time to talk about the winner. This was a piece of work that is relevant for today, that proposes a very interesting solution that can potentially be applied very, very soon, that has multiple uses that have not even begun to be explored, and that solves a very practical problem in a very practical way, and that produces things that are incredibly beautiful, incredibly unique, and most of all, incredibly useful. So, congratulations.
If I win the award, it would be life-changing for me and would be a great opportunity for my career, because I believe that the money prize will enable me to scale up my project from a home-based workshop to a bigger workshop. And I hope that I will have the opportunity to research more and develop it, optimize not only my material, but also my method. And hopefully start a conversation with other makers and industries on how we can collectively reimagine the future of ceramics and traditional crafts.
you.